Today's news. Preliminary hearing on Inula Fatuleyev's appeal heard. Forum in support of freedom of speech and expression kicks off. Kur Civil Society Organization meets with National Budget Group. There are about 5,000 illegal migrants in Azerbaijan. No one receives Sarbirabad residents. Third International Conference on Problems of Cybernetics and Computer Science held. Debate entitled Freedom of Speech or Patriotism held. On the 7th of September in the Baku Appellate Court, under the chairmanship of Judge Hakim Mirpasha Husinov, a preliminary hearing on Inula Fatuleyev's appeal was heard. The judge offered additional time for Fatuleyev to become familiarized with the case and suggested continuing the hearing after the Ramadan holiday. Fatuleyev and his lawyers did not object to the judge's proposal. The judge scheduled the preliminary hearing for the 17th of September at 11 a.m. The journalist appealed against the July 6th decision of the Garadag District Court on 2.5 years imprisonment under the accusation of storing drugs and demands immediate release. In 2007, Fatuleyev was sentenced to 8.5 years in jail for threatening terror and for other accusations. However, the European Court on Human Rights issued a decision declaring his innocence and requesting his immediate release. The Azerbaijani government has been refusing to implement this decision. On the 7th of September, the Forum on the Public Support of Freedom of Speech and Expression, which was organized by several journalist organizations and mass media, began in Baku. At the press conference, the organizer, New Generation Journalists Union Chairman Arif Aliyev, said that the forum's purpose is to mobilize the community to work towards a solution for problems in the area of speech and expression freedom. It is not right to complain to the authorities or international organizations and expect them to solve the problems. If the community is active, it is possible to solve problems in a timely way. The forum is intended for making the community much more active in this field, said Aliyev. In the framework of the forum, there is a plan to conduct a series of events, Aliyev says. Namely, on the 8th of September at noon, in the Rotunda Hall of the Landmark Business Center, a photography and caricature exhibition on speech and expression freedom will be opened. On the same day, at 6 p.m., in the Ibris Theater, the Frontline Discussion Club will be opened. On the 9th of September at 9 a.m., also in the Rotunda Hall, a conference will be held by 10 international journalists and human rights organizations, including Reporters Without Borders, Article 19, Freedom House, International Federation of Journalists, World Association of Newspapers, Institute for Peace and War Reporting, and others. Issues regarding removal of the debris caused by the large-scale floods that occurred during this past spring were discussed during the meeting between the Kur Civil Society Organization and the National Budget Group on September 7, 2010. Kur coordinator Ogtay Guleileyev and organization member Meham Aliyev informed the National Budget Group about the preliminary calculation of flood damages suffered by the population in the villages. Both sides came to an agreement on coordinating the monitoring of spending the funds allotted by the government for flood recovery. 300 million manat has been allocated for the construction of houses and social enterprises in the flooding zone, distribution of compensation and restoration, and reconstruction of irrigation systems. A number of law violations in distribution of compensation and misappropriation of compensation were revealed during the monitoring conducted by the Kur Civil Society Organization, Ogtay Guleileyev said after the meeting. The Center for Legal Assistance to Migrants held a news conference on the topic of migration in Azerbaijan in the Caspian Business Center on September 7, 2010. Chairman Alovsat Aliyev said that they are implementing a project with the financial support from OSCE on labor exploitation in Azerbaijan. The gaps in legislation provide opportunities for labor exploitation in Azerbaijan, he noted. Aliyev says the labor of foreigners is mainly exploited in the construction sphere. About 2,000 foreigners work at Accord, and over 200 Serbs and more than 1,500 others work for Pasha Inşaat construction companies. Despite such a large number of illegal migrants, only 56 of them have been sanctioned to work for Pasha Inşaat. Such a huge number of unsanctioned illegal migrants not only leads to tax evasion, but it also means their labor rights are not protected and they will not be compensated in case of construction injuries, Aliyev emphasized. Gunel Guliev, a lawyer who works for the center, stated that 875 people have directly appealed to the center in person, while another 1,012 appealed via phone. They were provided with relevant legal assistance. A group of Sabirabad's Bala Hashim Khanli village residents assembled in front of the presidential administration to protest law violations, the lack of action taken to clear ooze from their fields, and other social problems. No one in the administration was willing to receive the residents. They were told to complain to the Ministry of Emergency Situations, the residents said during a news conference in the press center of the Institute for Reporters' Freedom and Safety. Resident Zorab Hamzayev said that they were not received in the emergency ministry either. The residents introduced their written complaint to the ministry. We have no funds to send our children to school. According to the president's order, there should have been preliminary payments, but no one has received a payment up to now. There were law violations in the distribution of the compensations, but after appealing to the prosecutor's office, the people who had received 800 manat were given another 200 manat, and those who had received 1,000 manat were given another 600 manat, Hamzayev said. He noted that 1,200 hectares of the sowing fields in the village have become useless. The sowing fields should be prepared for autumn, but no action is taken. The fields are not cleared of ooze, Hamzayev stressed. The Third International Conference on the Problems of Cybernetics and Computer Science, which commenced on September 6th, continued in Baku today. OSCE Baku office head Ali Bilge Jankarel said that there has been progress in the fight against cybercrimes. Azerbaijan has joined the European Convention on Cybercrime, and there has been definite progress in this sector in the country, Jankarel said. National Security Ministry representative Kerim Kerimov said that cybercrimes have been observed in Azerbaijan recently. The state program on the fight against cybercrimes was adopted in 1998. This danger increased after Azerbaijan joined the local network. Therefore, the National Security Ministry established a special structure to fight cybercrimes. A serious fight is being waged against cybercrimes in Azerbaijan, emphasized Kerim Kerimov. A debate entitled Freedom of Speech or Patriotism was held in Azerbaijani Media Center during the Forum on Public Support of Freedom of Speech and Expression on September 7, 2010. The opponents were a member of the parliament, Aynur Jamalgizi, and media expert Zainal Mamadli. This theme stemmed from recent discussions around the film Unhappy Man, created by ANS TV editor Mirshahin Agayev, about the imprisoned journalist Einula Fatullayev. Agayev actually supports imprisonment of his colleague and says that patriotism is more important than freedom of speech. During the debate, Jamalgizi said that if she had to choose between freedom of speech and patriotism, she would choose the latter. The notions of freedom of speech or democracy have no meaning if there is no motherland, she emphasized. In his turn, Mamadli noted that, in modern civilization, humans and freedom of speech are valued the most. The motherland must be a mother for people. It is not the people who must be a mother for motherland, Mamadli said.